You talk straight to him.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's been asked, and that was about the whole thing of gold, and the whole fixation on gold and silver right now. And you have shops that saying, "We'll buy gold," and you have gentlemen out there with signs and kind of gestures out there who are trying to solicit business for individuals to buy to turn in their gold for cash. Really what people don't understand is that it goes back to the book of the fall of Rome. And if you talk about that, you look at the United States and it's parallel. But the gold piece is dealing more so with the idea that there's going to be a destabilization of the dollar. And that's coming very soon. And probably you'll see it, I would guess, under Obama's administration, prior to him, if he gets a second term or be towards the end of this term. And the Global Monetary Authority book that you want to reference is The Crisis by Design by John Truman Wolfe. But the Global Monetary Authority met in the G20 summit in 2009, and they developed a universal currency in Basel, Switzerland. Anyway, the gold piece comes into play is that the only real intrinsic value that dollars have is if it's backed by gold and silver. Nixon took us off of the gold and silver standard. So what that meant is that the money that's being printed had no intrinsic value. And anytime they continue to print money that doesn't have any resource or material backed by it, then the only thing you have now is the military might in the United States. Well, in the fall of Rome, it talked about the military empire or military industrial complex was overextended during the time of the Roman Empire, and they spread themselves so thin it destabilized the country and made it more vulnerable for outside and intrinsic revolution to take place. And so the people, the citizens rose up, and at that point Rome fell, and they tried to engage the people at that time with a lot of sport and play. You see the Colosseums. So now you see the Dallas Stadium, you see UCF, you see a lot of attention-seeking devices to distract us, reality TV, other mediums to keep us distracted, and to tell live visions that we have in our homes is more focused on, even if you consider yourself more politically astute and you watch CNN and Fox, all of them are writing from the same script, reading the same script. And we went from 56 media outlets to now we're down to 8 from the 80s. So the reality is that it's bought and sold and controlled to kind of socially engineer us, to keep us kind of spoon-fed and to actually dull us to sleep. But you see revolution taking place all over. Now, what has happened is going to take us to the next phase when you talk about Japan and other natural disasters in Haiti and Chile, New Zealand, and prior to that was China. We are becoming so desensitized to them that you see the natural disasters are getting worse and worse. Prior to that was India. Well, you're going to see that hit the United States. You're going to see it hit the Western Seaboard, which you see now with this panic in regards to radiation. But I would tell black people to be prepared as a whole for a minimum of 6 months of rations of food and water, and also a disaster preparedness plan that allows for us to be able to have an escape clause from our homes if need be, because you're going to see civil arrest within the communities. They said the average black family, when they did an assessment from FEMA, said that we have no more than a minimum, a maximum of 72 hours on average. Of 40 million of us here in North America, we only have about 72 hours worth of rations to sustain ourselves before we have total anarchy. And they've just announced recently, and the Secretary of State for California, as well as the FEMA director, stated that we need to be prepared for 72 hours to a week to be self-sufficient before intervention can come in from government aid. Now we know that is for the dominant culture or whites. Typically, if you want to learn from Katrina victims. They'll tell you that it went 2 weeks, and they talked about the National Guard and other non-specified